I never knew my mom. She passed away when I was 6 months old. And so I don't have any conscious memory of her. I've got some pictures and stories that my grandparents or my dad, my aunts and uncles tell me. And it's always been kind of like this puzzle, I guess, of trying to piece together who she was. It's tough. It was always weird growing up as a kid without a mom. One thing that everybody always told me was that I had her heart. And I guess that's true in more than one way. When I was 20, I was diagnosed with dilated cardiomyopathy. In a lot of situations, if the disease process progresses, it can lead to a heart transplant. My mom and her brother both died from sudden cardiac death in their early 20s. I had a pacemaker put in on November 20th, 2012. It was probably the worst day of my life, not knowing if I was going to come out on the other side. And that first night in the hospital was absolute agony. It really gives you appreciation for people that have a chronic condition, that have a chronic illness. It gives you some perspective to know what it's like to be a patient. I think for a lot of people, it can be a death sentence. A lot of doctors are, I think, maybe a little bit too overly cautious. And there's a lot of people that have pacemakers that they just give up on life. They don't do the things that they want to do. They give up their hobbies. They stop doing the things that they love because they're afraid. When I first had my pacemaker put in, I thought life was over. I didn't think I'd be able to stay active. I didn't think I'd be able to exercise. I didn't think that I would be able to live a normal life. I lived my life for a long time in fear, afraid that if I did pretty much anything, that there were going to be consequences, that my pacemaker was going to dislodge or the wire was going to break or somehow it would make me sicker or weaker. And I just wasn't willing to accept that. I got into lifting to show myself that I was capable of more. You always want to add more weights on the bar. You can see your progress. And it teaches you to be tough, mentally, physically, and to kind of push through and persevere. Now I do competitive strongman and powerlifting, and I'm working on like a 400-pound overhead press. And yeah, it's weird, when I'm benching heavy weight or when I'm doing a heavy log, the thought is there. Sometimes there's some discomfort around my pacemaker. Sometimes if I get like a pec cramp or something in my chest that just feels off, like it concerns me, like there always is that danger, that chance that something may happen. Yeah, I get nervous. I get afraid when I lift sometimes because you don't know what's going to happen. And if I drop a 350-pound log on my chest, that could be the end of my pacemaker. It could crush my lead. I don't know. But at the same time, it's something that I enjoy, and I don't want to live in fear. I did that for a long time, and I don't want to go back to that. It's weird being young and having to think about these things. It's weird having a metal brick in my chest. It's weird taking pills every day. It's weird wondering if what happened to my mom and my uncle is gonna happen to me. Everyone's always told me that I have my mom's heart. When all this stuff first happened, I I thought that was a curse. I thought I wasn't gonna be here that long. I didn't know how long I had left, and it was scary. I had this dark cloud looming over my head. Now I feel like that's a blessing because these experiences, they let me connect with people. They give me perspective. I know what it's like to suffer. I know what it's like to be in a dark place. I know what it's like to have this cloud of fear, uncertainty follow you all the time. I know what it's like to not know. Every night before I go to bed, I lay there and I think to myself, is today my last day? And would my mom be proud of me?